Alrighty, welcome everyone to the very first official Algebra 1 video for your classes. Kind of going to be what it's be like for a little bit here. I'll get going right away with what's expected of you over the next couple of weeks. Just the exact what I'm doing, a little bit more precise than what I was showing you last week. And we're going to go from there. So, what is expected of you starting today, my birthday? Every week, you're going to watch both the videos. I'm going to post 2 videos in full at normal speed with the sound on. Give your undivided attention. It's like class time. What am I really talking about here? What we're trying to say is you kind of really want to get yourself back into a normal schedule of things as soon as possible. The governor just extended all classes being canceled in full through April 10th. Again, we're probably not coming back to school at all until the end of May. And it's good to have a little bit of normalcy in your life as you're trapped at home during this time of quarantine. With lots of restaurants closed and really nothing to do and you can't go outside. Getting yourself into a normal situation of, you know what, I'm going to wake up at 9 every single day. Or, if it's not 9, fine, make it 10, make it 11, whatever it is. Wake up at the same time every single day. Get out of bed, eat breakfast, get showered. Even getting dressed in your regular clothes as if you were going out, even though you're not going out, can be helpful to maintaining a sense of normalcy. Likewise, if you're going to go ahead and do schoolwork, you might as well give it your all and put your full time and attention into it. I'm not going to be spending too long in these videos. I'd love it if you could just watch, do the entire thing, watch the whole thing through. This is going to be on the honor system. I'm not going to be able to prove to anyone that you actually watched this whole thing, that you didn't just go at double speed, that you didn't just fly through as quickly as possible. But I'm telling you, if you do this and you get back into a sense of normalcy, life is a little bit easier, a little bit better for you. It's easy to fall into a trap of being a little bit unhappy when you're trapped doing nothing all day long. So let's go to avoid that and let's do a little bit of work in the process. So, you're going to have to watch the video and you're going to take some notes, Cornell style. And it's going to be really, really easy to do Cornell style notes. Easier than it actually was in my class, I think, because I'm going to do the Cornell notes right in front of you. So you literally just have to copy down what I'm writing in the video and you're going to get full credit. It's that simple. It really, really is. I think my notes are going to be a little bit longer than I do in class, only because I have the ability to write down every single little thing that I'm thinking about. Here, as opposed to on the board, I really streamline it to what I'm going to put onto the board. But here, you can pause, not have to write down every little thing. And I'll be saying some things out loud. Add this to your notes right here to prove that you actually watched the video and didn't just, fly through it or whatever. Put a star in this corner of the page to let me know that you actually watched it, even though there's not a star in the video here, whatever. Okay, so let's do this. When you're done with these notes, you're going to take a picture of it. You can use your phone, you can use your iPad, whatever it is. And when they're finished, you're going to get participation credit. And that's all you're going to have to do this week, actually. Watch the videos, take notes, take pictures of it. Boom, done, finished. That simple. You'll submit these on Google Classroom and eventually Canvas. So we're going to switch to Canvas on April 6th, actually. Okay. Starting week of March 30th, that's a week from today, my birthday, March 23rd, week from today, you will also have required homework that you're going to have to complete. It's going to be homework kind of just like regular old stuff from my class. I will post the assignments most likely on Google Classroom in the form of a couple questions, and you'll have to, again, take pictures of them to get them done. I will make a video to do these as well, but sometimes having, again, that sense of normal, hey, here's an interaction with my teacher to help learn it, can help you out, and it can, again, bring you back to that sense of normalcy. So I'm going to offer real-time WebEx and Zoom work for any of my students to come in and help. I haven't decided exactly when that's going to be, and it's not going to start till next week anyways. But when that does happen, I will probably do it every single day, maybe for an hour or so, where you guys can just come on, ask a question, and I will do whatever it is, Algebra 1 or Algebra 2, actually. And we'll see how that goes. Homework is graded on completion, so again, copy it from the video if you need to, but it will be graded as if, did you do it, yes or no. Starting the week of April 6th, you will have quizzes or tests at home. I don't know how that's going to work yet. I don't know if I'm going to have access to the Canvas quizzing system. I don't know if I'm going to have access to WebWork for tests. I don't know what I'm going to be doing quite yet. I have 2 weeks to figure it out, so you guys have 2 weeks to wait until I figure out what I'm going to be doing when it comes to that. That's pretty much it. So let's actually get going on the actual lesson here. I'm going to turn this capture off. We're going to hit the transition button. I actually recorded this video twice now because I forgot the transition button, and I'm just not good enough with video editing to deal with that, so I just deleted the video and moved on with my life. Here we go. So, how I'm doing this, actually, I'm working off of the graphing parabolas notes that I've already typed up and printed out for you guys. So if you happen to still have those, that's great, because that means that you can just go off of those instead of what I'm writing down. But if not, that's okay too. I'm going to turn this light onto this. I don't know if that makes them any better or not. I don't know. Anyways, here we go. Title of this lesson is going to be Graphing Parabolas Part 1. I'm going to be doing my best to keep my handwriting as neat as possible because you guys are going to be having to write all of it down. I wonder if I should zoom in at all. Let's see what happens if I zoom in. Is that a little bit better? But now you can't see the whole page. No, we're just going to leave it as it was. All right, Graphing Parabolas Part 1. Here we go. Give it a little bit of an underline there, and my essential question coming up right away. So my essential question is, what is a parabola? And if you already did all these notes and yours are all set up, good for you. You can actually just use those. However, writing them down again can definitely help, especially given we've been out of school for 2 weeks. Good luck remembering all this stuff. So what is a parabola, and how can I graph one in vertex form? So one thing you can do with your notes that you didn't have to do before, but now that I have a chance to really show you exactly what I'm wanting with your notes and I really have all your attention, we're going to go through and we're going to go ahead and predict a couple of our vocabulary words if we didn't already. So the word parabola, guaranteed right there to be a vocab word that we're going to want to figure out. Vertex form, what in the world does that mean? So we're going to need to figure out what these words mean and then go back and kind of re-answer these questions later. And that can be a really good learning process. After that, daily objective. Usually I have this on the board. I'm going to start writing it up here just because I have a little bit of extra room up there, and I'm going to use that room for this. So I'm going to go ahead and write it. My objective for you guys today, so your objective, you can know you have learned this stuff. If you are able to, I can graph a parabola by, and how do you do that? You're going to be doing it by locating the vertex and both zeros. Did I spell that right? Locating. That is so bad. Just said I'm going to try my hardest. I'm really not. All right, so we're going to be going for locating the vertex in both zeros. So guess what? I got my vocab words to underline here again. Parabola, vertex, zeros. So I need to figure out what those words mean and how do we, what are we going to do for this? We got vocabulary. I'm going to do vocabulary on the other side. So if you still haven't written all this down, you need me to do it. I'm going to do a little bit of a zoom in so you have a chance just to see just that if you wanted to, so you could pause the video if you needed to. Now I'm going to zoom back out because you had your chance to pause. Okay, And we're going to flip the page over here, and we're going to go ahead and do on the back side here my vocabulary. And just because I can, I'm going to switch the colors. So the stuff that I want to, first is a review vocabulary word, a quadratic function. So quadratic function, what is a quadratic function? It is any function of the form f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So you're going to have these guys. You're going to have an a, a b, and a c, and it's going to have an x squared and x. So this is actually a reminder in a way. The reason why I say reminder, it's technically new. But the reminder part, we actually knew what function was. Function is this little guy, this f of x. And we also knew what a quadratic was. A quadratic is anything that the highest exponent is a square. Maybe I really should be zoomed in for this. Yeah, it's just so much more visible for you. I'm doing that from now on. Any function of the form f of x equals x squared plus bx plus c. Okay. So, see how many times I touch my face? It's so hard not to touch your face during this whole COVID thing. I don't know how everyone does it. It's really hard. I want to give another version of this. So this is the formal one. The plain English is really a third color here. So I'm going to do just kind of English best I can. So the English version of this, any function, highest exponent is 2. So a good way of seeing if you actually understood this is to try to create your own example. So I'm going to create one example here. And if you want to, you can create your own example and put it next to your notes. And I can actually grade that and tell you, hey, you did a good job here. I can make a little comment on Google Classroom. It will give me something to do with my life. So I would love for you to make an example right after I did, right here. So I'm going to do a fourth color here. Look at all these colors I'm using. Here's my pink. We're going to do, I don't know why I wrote Y. Now I have pink scribble all over my cute little notebook here. F of x equals, I'm going to say x squared plus, how about 3x plus 2. And if I wrote it like that, that would mean that a would equal to 1, because that's the number in front of my x squared. We'd say b is equal to 3 and c is equal to 2. So again, I would love for you to make up not this example, write a different version on your notebook. I mean, or you could, write another one right here below it. Up to you to make sure you're actually understanding what's going on for what a quadratic function is. So this guy, again, quadratic function because the highest exponent in the question is 2. Okay, boom. Next guy, parabola. So let's go ahead and go through this. A parabola. What is this guy? Our big vocabulary word that I was worried about earlier. So parabola. So parabola. And again, switching colors. I like doing this. It's so much fun. Shape of the graph of a quadratic function. So basically, if I took this thing and put it into a graph, it creates a parabola. So because I have this computer in front of me, we're going to go ahead and do something with this computer. I'm going to go ahead and bring up a nifty little website called Desmos. So you're able to bring this guy up too if you'd like to. It is a great little website. So let's go ahead and actually do this. How am I going to make this happen? So, I just deleted my website here. In the meantime, hopefully you guys are doing well in your lives right now. I hope everyone's doing okay. I don't know, man. Kind of worried myself about everything, but we'll see. Okay, so Firefox capture. Turn this guy on. Scroll up. Okay. Scroll up. Oh, there we are. Oh. So, I can't figure out how to make it the whole screen. This is good enough. Okay, so now I hit transition. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, the problem is my face is in the way. All right, I'm going to delete my face for a little bit. Bye-bye, face. Goodbye. Goodbye, me. Okay, transition. Okay, I'm gone. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and graph the one I just wrote down so you guys can see it show up, what the shape of this thing looks like. So we're typing an f of x right there into this guy. Hard to see. Oh, well, life goes on. X squared plus 3x plus 2. And you can see it creates this little shape like this. I'm going to call this a happy face parabola. In fact, that's the only thing I'm going to be writing down on this guy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn my webcam back on. Turn the Firefox off. Okay, transition back to this. Okay. So basically that's what I'm trying to say. The shape of the quadratic function is either a happy face or it is a frowny face, the upside down version of that. So let's go ahead and draw a cute little version of that right now. So we're going over here, and so this one is going to be a happy face parabola. Usually we put arrows on the end of that. So we call this a happy... Did I write 3 P's in the word happy there? Oh my god. Sorry guys. Happy face parabola. And then we're going to do this one over here is a frowny face parabola. We're going to learn more about those two later, but for now, that's all you got to know. You got to know a parabola is one of these guys that either looks like a happy face or looks like a frowny face, and that's it. That's all I really care about for this moment in time. Going on to the next word now, though. Okay, so the next word that I'm looking for is the word vertex. Again, that is another one of those underlined words that I wanted you to understand from that previous page. So the vertex, there's a fancy way of writing it, and then there's another way of saying it, and then it's what's on the picture. So I'm going to try to get all of those things across to you. So let's write all these things down. Which color do I want to use here? I'm going to use this one here. So the formal version of it, it is the bottommost coordinate. It is a coordinate. It is a place. Coordinates on a happy face parabola. By the way, that is not the math word for that, if you want to know. These are all Mr. Richards definitions, I'll have you know. If you want the fancy definitions, we'll get there, eventually. For now, this is the Mr. Richards version. So it's the bottommost, at the bottom, coordinate on a happy face parabola, or it is the topmost coordinates that coordinate, by the way, these got this word coordinate. That is an x comma y, in case you were wondering. It is a place on there. And again, this would be the bottommost on a happy face or the topmost coordinates on a frowny face. Parabola. These are also called, instead, the minimum. I spelled that wrong. Oh, you can't even see it anyways. Good. Minimum or maximum. So the minimum points, if you wanted to, this guy right here, if I went into a different color, that guy right there, the bottom of that parabola, or the top of this one, that is the vertex. So you can kind of like draw a little thing. That's a vertex right there. That's a vertex right there on a parabola. So it is a point on a parabola, the bottom or the top. It's a coordinate. It has to be written as an x comma y. You gotta write it as a place, an x comma. It's got an x value and a y value, a left and right, and an up and down. Whew, we're almost done, guys. We are almost done. We have 2 more vocab words to write down. Hopefully we have enough room here, because I've been writing kind of big. Maybe I'll have to write small for the last 2. So we have what is called the vertex form of a parabola. the vertex form. The vertex form of a parabola is going to be anything of the form f of x equals a. Please note this a is the same a from up here. Equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Let's talk about what these three different things do. So, there are three letters here that are important. Why did I say three? Looks like there's four letters. Mr. Richards, there are four letters. Okay, look. F of x means y, so you could also write y, by the way, instead of f of x. Every single equation that we're going to be doing this year and for a while is going to have a y and an x in it. However, not all of them are going to have these squares, the a's, the h's, and the k's. But the vertex form of the parabola does. It has this a, the h, and the k. So when you're in this form, a only matters one thing about it. If it is a positive number, oh, I need a different color here. I was supposed to do green for this, wasn't I? I'm going to pretend it was green. We're going to do this whole thing in green. Oh yeah, baby. That means it's in green. I just turned it green. Magic. And now we're going to go to this light blue color. And we're going to say if a is a positive number, so it's 2 or 3 or 1 like it was up here. If a is positive, you get a happy face parabola. If a is negative, a negative number, you get a frowny face parabola. So if it's like -2, you get a frowny face parabola. So that a in front determines if it's a happy face or a frowny face. We're going to say h is the x value of the vertex. Switch the sign. Switch the sign. What do I mean? So switch the sign here. So when I say switch the sign, that negative sign right there screws stuff up. So in other words, if you see that it's x plus 3, then h is -3. If you have x minus 3, then h is +3. So you got to switch the sign. And one more thing, k is the y value of the vertex. That's pretty much it for right now. You don't switch the sign for the y. We do have one more vocab word. Unfortunately, I have run out of room on my page. So I think it's because I have a wide ruled page here. So if you have college ruled, you will have plenty of room. If you got wide ruled, then you're like me and you're going to go into like the next lesson over here, write more stuff for your vocab. But that's okay. We can just get more vocab words going on here. We got one more word that we got to have written down, and that is going to be the word zeros. All right, so zeros. This is a super important word. It's a word that shows up again and again and again. I was actually just doing a little bit of help in calculus the other day here. I'm doing like online tutoring now. And we were doing a problem where he had to find the zeros of a function. So this is something that doesn't ever go away math-wise. It's just one of those things that just shows up forever and ever and ever. The coordinates where a parabola crosses the x-axis. That is our definition. I was supposed to do that in red. Okay, it's in red now. Isn't that beautiful? It's in red. Now we're going to switch to green. So it is the coordinates. The coordinates where a parabola, or really any function, honestly, or any function, you could write, you don't have to write, oh, I was going off the page. I wonder if I did that in any of my other definitions. I hope not. We'll find out later. All right, the coordinates where a parabola crosses the x-axis. So basically, what am I talking about? So you have this parabola here. So let's just go ahead and draw a cutesy little version really quick over here. So we have this parabola here, and I'm going to pretend it's a happy face parabola. So this spot right here, I'm going to go ahead and highlight it. This guy right here and this guy right here, those guys are the zeros. It's because it's where it crosses the x-axis. So it's going to be those spots. You got to make sure that you note that every single one of these is always going to look like this because it's on the x-axis. Is every single one will look like this. It's always going to be something of the form z, 0. They're always found in the same way. So let's pretend that we had an equation really quick. I'm going to do a quick example of this stuff. I'm going to show you what you're going to have to do for every single one. If you had the equation f of x equals, and we had maybe x minus 2 squared minus 9, you find zeros by making this guy 0. If you go 0 equals, you are finding the zeros. So maybe you could write down find zeros by making y or f of x equals 0. So you have to make that f of x equals 0, the y equals 0 to do it. All right, so we're actually at 26 minutes into my video here, which is about where I want it to be. I wanted to be at 30 minutes, but I wanted to take a little bit of time here at the end to remind you of a couple things. When you're doing something like this, you're learning these words, zeros and quadratic function, parabola, vertex form. You're writing down this essential question, what is a parabola and how can I graph one in vertex form? You've already gotten a few points of this. But in these times of turmoil throughout society, where everyone's kind of in a panic mode, you see people arguing, on screen. Maybe a few of you might be unlucky where your parents are one of the people who ended up, losing their jobs because of, the fact of the matter is it's estimated that about 30% of people are going to be losing their jobs. About 3 out of 10 adults are going to be making the same amount of money you guys make, nothing. And that's not cool. I was one of the lucky ones, actually, that I'm a teacher, that they still are going to be paying me. And I might be saying, what in the world am I doing learning about parabolas? What is the point? And I gotta be honest, there is not, learning how to graph a parabola is not going to solve the world's problems. However, it does two very important things. Number one, I'm telling you right now that in order to solve these crazy hard questions, it involves a lot of math. And learning how to do things like finding zeros and finding vertexes and things like this is part of the process to getting there if you do want to eventually solve these problems. And even if you don't want to solve these problems, I'm going to go back to where I started this video about a sense of normalcy. If you are able to relax a little bit and just put your entire mind towards learning something new, learning the math that you're supposed to learn, that all students who are taking Algebra 1 are supposed to learn this material anyways. If you're able to do that, then you can forget for a little bit the problems of the world. While I'm making this video up, I get into this good mood, I'm messing around with my colors, I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm having a good time because I don't have to worry about the unhappiness that's around me. And that's something that I would really, really encourage you to actually do, to really learn this stuff. Because the more time you spend learning this stuff, the less time you're thinking about all the other crap. It's up to you. So just for the last couple minutes or so here in this video, I'm going to go back over all the things that we've learned so far, the vocabulary of what's going on, and we're going to do the actual problems tomorrow. So let's talk about the stuff one more time. So the goal of the lesson here, this essential question, is what is a parabola and how can I graph one in vertex form? So you're going to have to answer that question eventually, but at least now you know what these words mean. Parabola. So parabola is that shape of a quadratic function. It's the shape of something that has an x squared in it. It's a happy face or a frowny face every single time. That's what we drew right here. Boom. That's what a parabola is. How do we get one into vertex form? Well, we haven't learned how to graph it yet, but we didn't learn what vertex form is. Vertex form, it looks like this. It's when I have an f of x or a y over here, and I got an a, x minus h squared, plus a k. We learned what the a's, the h, and the k do. We'll talk about those more in a minute. And the goal, the objective of today, and honestly the next part of this lesson here is I can graph a parabola by locating the vertex and both zeros. So I want to be able to figure out where is that bottom or top, and where are both the zeros, the other word that we just learned. So we just learned this other one. Where did my word go? Oh, my word went over here. It's on the other side of the planet. So we got zeros, the coordinate where a parabola crosses. So you got to find both of those and that bottom point. So if you can do that, maybe just draw yourself a little picture to yourself. I can graph a parabola by locating it. If you can do that, that is how you do this. We can already answer this. How do I graph one in vertex form? I do it by doing the vertex and both zeros. How am I actually going to find this? I mean, you go into more detail in a minute, but really what we are looking for is this. We want to find, I'm going to do pink. You need to figure out on any old parabola here, you need to figure out what is the bottom coordinate down there. I'm going to pretend that's the bottom of it, and the two zeros. That's what you got to do. And we're going to learn more about that in just a minute. I appreciate you guys watching this thing. If you take a picture of what you have done so far, you can prove to me that you have done this work. I'm going to go ahead and put the due date for that by Wednesday for all of my Algebra 1 students. And just one more time, I appreciate it. I miss you guys. And hopefully this stuff all blows over and I get to see you again soon. Have a good one and have a great rest of your Mr. Richard's birthday. That's today. Have a good one.